It was just past 11 in the morning when everything went to hell in TechCOR's gleaming new energy lab. Smack in the center of downtown, San Francisco, bright lights flashing like a casino, alarms screaming, 30 engineers all shouting over each other while a glass pod pulsed at the heart of it all. We're talking about a $400 million gamble on the world's first self-sustaining energy core, years in the making, a project so big it could rewrite how we power the planet or tank the whole company if it flamed out in front of the media. That's exactly what looked like was about to happen. Alarms red as a fire truck, numbers climbing, air crackling with nerves and static, every genius from MIT to Caltech losing their minds because no one could stop the temperature from spiking. 2 hours till the media tour, and all hell would break loose. You ever watch a room full of the smartest people you've ever seen realize they might get fired on national television? That was the vibe. And right behind a thick wall of glass, Martin Blake, TechCOR's infamous CEO, the kind of guy who could fire you with a look, stood, arms folded, jaw locked, watching it all play out. He said nothing, which somehow made it worse. Nobody wanted to be the one who blew the whole thing. Out in the hallway, rolling along like she belonged, came Riley Jensen, 22, baseball cap low over her face, pushing a food cart piled with boxed lunches from a neighborhood cafe. Everyone just clocked her as the delivery girl, nothing more. No one noticed how her eyes lingered on the chaos inside, or how she scanned the monitors like she could read the code from the glass. She wasn't supposed to pause, but something about those blinking screens tugged at a part of her she tried hard to forget. Because Riley wasn't just some kid with a lunch order's been accepted to MIT on a full ride at 17. She could have been in that lab, easy, if life hadn't slammed her with a D to her mom's stroke, dropping out to take care of her, juggling 2 jobs, every dream shelved for survival. Now here she was, delivering sandwiches to the life she should have had. But even with everything she'd lost, Riley's mind hadn't gone rusty. She could still read a diagnostics board like it was a piece of music, and what she saw through that glass window made her pulse jump. There on those screens, in the panicked mess of numbers and code, was a pattern nobody inside seemed to see. The argument in the lab was heating up. Shut it down. No, it's the software loop. It's the coolant. And Martin's voice finally crackled through the intercom, calm but lethal. If that core crashes in front of the press, we're done. Riley's hands tightened on the cart. This wasn't her problem, and yet she knew, with the same cold clarity that had gotten her into MIT, she could fix it if they'd just let her try. She hesitated only a second. Then she ditched the cart and slipped through the side door, heart hammering, apron stark against a sea of lab coats. "Hey," someone shouted. "You can't be in here." Riley's voice came out stronger than she felt. "Sorry, but I overheard you guys. Andy saw your code from the hall. You're running the thermal algorithm like heat increases linearly with every spin. But with a rotating core like that, it's exponential every 6 cycle. Your sensors are lagging behind the spike. That's why you're overheating. Recalibrate the delay, adjust for the pattern." You could have heard a pin drop. Some of the engineers looked ready to laugh her out of the building, but a junior tech actually checked her math, punched in the numbers, and suddenly the alarms died, temperatures leveled, every status light flashed green. Just like that, the room went from chaos to stunned silence. Martin didn't move, just watched her through the glass like he was seeing a ghost. "How'd you know that?" someone finally asked. Riley shrugged, almost embarrassed. "I used to study this before my mom got sick." Martin's voice hit the intercom again. "What's your name?" "Riley. Riley Jensen." He looked at her for a long, loaded moment, and then, like he'd just made a billion-dollar call, said, "Stay where you are." And that was it. Riley stood there, surrounded by 30 stunned engineers, her delivery cart forgotten, the miracle fix still pulsing in the center of the room. Martin came out, face unreadable, but for the first time, not cold, just curious. "You stabilized a $400 million prototype in less than a minute," he said, quiet but with an edge. Riley tried to brush it off. "It's basic physics, I guess. I used to study similar stuff in college, but..." "You used to?" he cut in. She nodded. "I was at MIT, but dropped out after my mom's stroke. Been working doubles, delivering food, cleaning offices, whatever keeps us going." One engineer muttered something like, "You could have yelled from the hallway." She shook her head. I wasn't trying to butt in, but someone had to say something. Martin just stared at her, then turned to the others. None of them argued. Then he pointed at a console. Show me what else you see. Riley hesitated, then moved to the terminal. In under 10 minutes, she pulled up error logs, flagged misconfigured cooling loops, even pointed out a hidden design flaw in the plasma distributor. The lead engineer actually said, "She's not just googe scary good." Martin leaned in. "How long to finish your degree?" 2 years if I could afford it." "You can now," Martin said. And just like that, offered her a job. Full salary, mentorship, tuition, whatever you need. "You belong in this lab, more than half the people here." Riley nearly fell over. The engineers nodded, some even smiling. Martin didn't wait for her to answer, just handed her a badge. "Start now." And Riley said yes. 2 months later, Riley walked back into that lab, not as a delivery girl, but as TechCOR's newest junior engineer. Her badge clipped to a fresh blue coat, her desk just feet from the energy core, and for the first time in years, she belonged. The others welcomed her, part awe, part genuine respect. And Martin checked in often, not as a cold-blooded CEO, but as a mentor. She was no charity case. Her ideas took the project to new heights. Environmental groups and even NASA started paying attention. When Martin called her in one day to talk about launching a youth initiative for underprivileged kids, he told her, "You'd be the perfect face for this. You've lived it." Riley blinked. "You want me to lead it?" "Lead it," he said. "You didn't imagine this chance, you earned it." Nearly a year passed, and Riley's name started popping up in tech journals, the accidental genius who saved a billion-dollar project, but none of it changed her. She still cared for her mom every morning before work, still hustled hard, but now with purpose. Then one afternoon, Martin summoned her to a meeting with top execs. Project Orbital, they called EDA, plan to deliver satellite energy to remote corners of the globe. "We want you to lead a core team," Martin said. Riley froze. "I don't even have a degree yet." One board member smiled. "Some of the greatest never did. You've proven what matters." Riley looked at the data on the screen, the chance to literally light up the world, and said, "I'm in." Months later, she stood on stage at a tech summit in Zurich, sharp suit, confident smile, nothing left of the shy delivery girl. Her story went viral. Schools wanted her to speak. Investors backed her youth program. Kids from tough neighborhoods saw themselves in her for the first time. Her mom, watching from their newly renovated apartment, was proud. Riley hired a nurse, so her mom would always be safe, but even with success, she never got complacent, mentoring interns, reviewing grant proposals, working late to perfect the satellite system. One night, standing by a window overlooking the city, Martin said, I used to think genius came from Ivy League diplomas. Now I know it comes from people who survive, who see what others miss." Riley laughed. "When I delivered food here, I barely had gas money." Martin grinned. "Now you're lighting up the world." Riley just shook her head. "Feels unreal." "Get used to it," he said. "You're just getting started." 3 years down the line, Riley stood on a mountaintop in Peru, watching a school glow with energy from TechCOR's orbital network. A girl in a worn uniform handed her a tablet with Riley's photo. "Is this you?" she asked. Riley smiled. "It is. Do you want to be an engineer?" The girl nodded. "Then start now. You've got what it takes." As the sun dipped behind the peaks, Riley felt a kind of peace she'd never known. She delivered food. Now, she was delivering hope and light to the places that needed it most. So here's the thing: genius can come from anywhere. And sometimes the person you least expect changes everything. Now I've got to ask, was Martin right to give her a shot? Did the team really accept her? Or did she have to prove herself all over again every day? Is it fair that a system overlooks talent until desperation hits? Tell me in the comments below who deserves a seat at the table. And what would you have done if you were in that lab?